Hello YouTube, N64 Fortress here, I'm back. Thanks for tuning in again as always, it's very much appreciated. We are back with another episode of Mission N64 239. So to anyone that's new, we're aiming to complete and review all 239 UK PAL N64 games on the channel. We've completed 15 already, plus one bonus fan-made hack. I'll put a link in the description to that playlist in case you're interested in checking out any of the previous games we've beaten so far. And yeah, episode 16 then, we are going for Yoshi's Story. It's not a game that I've ever played before, so I've got nothing I can add commentary-wise on this to start with. But yeah, it's a first-party Nintendo title, of course, and this was an era where Nintendo were knocking out a lot of good games. Super Mario 64, Mario Kart, and later Super Smash Bros. And so on. So yeah, really looking forward to getting my teeth into this one and seeing what it's all about. Hopefully it's as good as some of the other games that they've produced in that sort of era. And yeah, before we get into it then, let's just see what it says in the magazine, like we normally do. Official N64 magazine, Yoshi Story. It's the last in the library alphabetically, by the way. Yoshi Story 86%. Surprisingly, a Nintendo game that lacks longevity, but it's amazing to play and beautiful too. So yeah, there's your clue why I picked this one then. Another nice short one to complete out the way. But yeah, even though it being quite short, it seems to have rated quite highly and some quite positive comments there. So yeah, looking forward to getting into this one then. So without further ado, let's get into it and see what it's all about. Right then guys, let's go. Yoshi Story is a 1997 platform game published and developed by Nintendo, exclusively for the Nintendo 64. It finally released on the 10th of May 1998 in Europe. It has seen re-releases on the Wii, Wii U and Switch. It is a 2D platformer, but it does have 2.5D elements, and it follows up to Yoshi's Island on the Super Nintendo with similar gameplay, though a little more puzzle orientated. Most challenges are tied to strategic achievement of high score. The story takes place within a pop-up style book using a pre-rendered graphical backdrop to illustrate worlds that are crafted from different materials such as cardboard, plastics, fabrics and wood. You choose from one of 6 coloured Yoshis, and these will essentially form your lives throughout the game. When you lose a life, your Yoshi is captured and taken to Bowser's dungeon. Lose all Yoshis, game over. Your health is measured by that sunflower in the top left corner. As you get hits, petals will be lost, but they can also be replenished by collecting fruit around the level. And that is the aim of the game really, to collect as much fruit as possible, to collect 30 items on each level to complete the level or world, and they are dotted around the edge of the screen. Once you've filled that, i.e. collected 30 pieces, the level is complete, making it not necessarily a linear level structure, because you can essentially complete a level by collecting 30 pieces of fruit before making it to the end of the level. My initial thoughts of the game are that it's very bright, colourful, looks and feels good. The pre-rendered visuals are beautiful and very easy on the eye, making it a delight to play. The game controls well, using the analog stick, which makes for a smooth playing experience. Yoshi has a few abilities that you can use. The use of tongue to suck and spit, a bit like Chameleon Twist, and he can run through the air to sort of gain altitude and salvage an otherwise daunting position and defy gravity and try and save or rescue a situation. You can suck enemies up using your tongue and they will turn into an egg which you can use to either spit at another enemy or to burst bubbles with fruit in that are scattered around the worlds. The music is catchy and it complements the game well, though it doesn't quite slap the way the Super Mario 64 soundtrack does. I did particularly enjoy the Bowser's Lullaby soundtrack, super catchy, composed by Kazumi Tokata, who also voiced Yoshi, and he went on to do the score for other notable games including Luigi's Mansion, Pikmin 2, Wii Sports and more. Right now we are getting to the business end of World 1 and I just need one more item of fruit to complete all 30 to collect, and at the end of each world you go to a summary screen like so, which tells you how you scored based on things that you've collected, hidden things that you've picked up. The game is quite short, there are 6 worlds, but there are 4 levels within each world and you only play one of them. So to play each level on each world, you need to at least play the game and complete it 4 times to experience all 24 levels available on the game. Each level is varying difficulty, and to unlock the other further difficulties all depend on Yoshi's happiness based on things that you've collected throughout the world prior, apart from World 1, where you have a choice of which of the 4 levels to commence. I have to be quite candid here and say I'm not really a big fan of that structure. I'd much prefer to have to play all 4 levels within the world, complete the world, and then progress, making it a longer game, but that way, to complete the game, you've completed all 24 levels. It just seems strange to have to complete the game 4 times to explore all the different scenarios, really. It doesn't seem to be the logical way to do things to me. I must also emphasise I wasn't overly keen on the non-linear nature to the game, i.e. completing a level or world by collecting 30 pieces of fruit. Conceptually, it works, but the fact that you can do this quite early into the level relatively, you don't get to fully explore that level or that world, and sometimes you bypass fighting certain bosses, and whilst it makes the game easier, I guess, and quicker for me, I didn't have that sense of accomplishment because I feel like I've skipped and almost cheated my way through the game a little bit by not fully exploring all of the levels. On the flip side to this though, it does provide replayability, the sort of incentive there to go back through the game again, find all these big red special hearts, unlock different and more difficult levels within those worlds and explore those, and just fully explore all of them, beat all the bosses and beat the game in multiple different ways really, to fully get the full experience of the game. In a time where you had more time to game, I suppose there was more incentive to do that than there is for me doing a basic review of the game. There are plenty of secrets to find in the game. Obviously I've talked about the special hearts, big and red, which there are 3 on each world to collect, and they will unlock the subsequent 3 levels within the world of ascending difficulty for you to try, and you can select which one you want to choose on your playthrough. And there are other secrets. Black and white Yoshis can be found, which give extra lives. It's interesting that the Yoshis of different colours, they don't have unique abilities, and perhaps a trick missed. It might have made the game more interesting if each different colour Yoshi had a special attribute to utilise on your journey through the worlds. It just might have made the game more interesting, and I just felt that there was nothing individually unique about each one, and so perhaps a trick was missed there. But yes, just going back to the secrets, the more secrets you uncover, the more points you get, the higher score you get, and that is something that you're rated on at the end of the game. And if you had siblings that you wanted to contest with, for example, it was all about who could get the highest score on this game, and that would be based around who completed the more difficult levels, who collected the most secrets, and so on. And so here we are at the boss at the end of World 3, a gigantic cloud that you have to keep licking and licking until it shrinks and shrinks, and eventually it shrinks down to size, and that completes the world. Quite a simple and easy boss, that one, really. Not too challenging at all, which is a theme throughout the game that I found, but perhaps it's because I didn't really take on the more challenging levels at all. But you know, sometimes a good game isn't always the hardest. Sometimes we don't want those frustrating periods where you're constantly pulling your hair out. Sometimes a relatively smooth journey is the more desirable in a time where you don't have as much time to sit there all day trying to beat a boss. And here's an example of me losing a Yoshi. Just goes to show that it's not the easiest game in the world. Things like this will happen throughout your journey of playing the game, unless you're a seasoned player, unlike me. I suppose it's worth mentioning at this stage that the game progress does indeed save to the game cartridge. A massive thumbs up from me. You all know by now the issues I had with my Joytech unofficial memory pack, which was fraught with problems, forever corrupting, and so any game that saves to the cartridge gets a big thumbs up from me. And being a first party Nintendo title, I believe all of their games did have a battery feature and the ability to save. I can't think of a first party title off the top of my head that does not allow you to save to the game cart, and so it's just a nice feature to have. You'll never have that headache of worrying will my progress be able to save, and will I be able to recover it the next day? And so, completing World 4, collecting 30 pieces of fruit, the pop-up book returns, we move on to World 5, and I really like this world, probably my favourite world. It was very reminiscent of the underwater level on Donkey Kong Country. Not sure if any of you remember that. Such a beautifully designed level, amazing soundtrack. The score on this level, not quite up there with that, but visually, very good indeed, this level. I really enjoyed it. The visuals are fantastic, and it was just a delight to traverse through this world. Some of these squids were difficult to weave in and out of. It was a bit more of a challenge than it looks, and it was just a real pleasant world to explore, and I truly did not want this level to end. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and there's not many, well, levels on this game, and levels in games in general, where you really get that feeling where you just want it to keep continuing. You don't want it to end because you're just having so much fun, and that's exactly the case for this level on this game. Most definitely my favourite out of them all, and one that, well, I'd arguably want to go back and play the other levels of this world to get the full experience, really. I guess that's the hook right there. That's what they've aimed to do, is to get me enjoying the level and wanting to go back and play the game again to explore the other levels, the other 3 underwater levels within this World 5, and to get the full experience that way. Though, as I talked about earlier, I'd have much preferred to do all 4 levels in a row, but perhaps that would have been too much in one go, and it might have become tiresome by that point. I don't know. So here we are, onto World 6 now, the final world, and making our way to Bowser to have that final showdown with him. This is the world with Bowser's Lullaby soundtrack in the background, which I think did a terrific job. Very fun, very enjoyable, and just added to that 90s gaming experience. Just true fun, platforming, great visuals, great music, and we're on the home straight now, and very motivated at this stage of the game to see how the game finishes. I haven't mentioned yet, but those chilies that you see on the floor, they are not to be picked up. You pick those up, you'll lose petals of your health. So I learnt that very early on in the game. So if you see those, do not suck them up. They will do you no favours. I did enjoy this level in the main. It's probably my second favourite to the underwater level. Lots of little obstacles like this to try and make your way through. I do feel like, again, because you're collecting 30 pieces of fruit, and I was quite efficient in my collection, I feel like I've missed part of the level out, haven't got the full experience. So it does tie back into the replayability aspect to go back and play through levels, not be so trigger happy with your tongue and suck up so much fruit quite so quickly, and that way you can explore more of the levels and worlds and get the full experience that way. Onto the boss now, the boss himself. Not overly challenging, but not easy either. You just got to be tactical, aim your bombs accordingly, knock him off the flying green thing. I have no idea what that is, so I'm not going to even attempt to say. And then use the bombs to shoot him 3 times, I think. When he's on the floor, when he jumps at you, just fire a bomb up, and that pretty much wraps the boss up. Did enjoy it. It wasn't easy. Like I said, it took me a couple of goes, and it was just a great way to finish the game. There's always something satisfying about beating a boss, isn't there? It was a lot easier than the final boss of Chameleon Twist 2, the last game you completed on Mission N64 239. So a bit of a step down in difficulty this game, but delighted all the same to have completed this game. And just like that, the Yoshis have their magic fruit tree back, and it's a happy ever after for them. It took me about 2 hours to complete the game. Some completionists out there will say, well, I haven't thoroughly completed it, but I did get the end credits up. I did say at the start of this journey that I wouldn't be completing games inside out. Getting to the end credits where possible is technically completing the game as far as I'm concerned. Pleased to report that I've enjoyed this one. So that is it, guys. Yoshi's story is now complete. I don't believe I can go as high as 86% in the official N64 magazine. I'd probably give it 80%, 8 out of 10. I did enjoy the game. Fun, great music, beautifully sort of designed, colour-wise, fun levels, fun worlds. Not too difficult, but challenging enough to, you know, put a bit of effort into the game. Can't totally cruise through the game, but I just think I didn't like the non-linear nature, the fact that you can complete a level by getting a certain amount of fruit and you might not have fully explored that world. And I know that creates replayability. You go back through and hold off hoovering up as much fruit so quickly so that you can explore the world. But I'm at that sort of stage where I'm not that willing to go back through and do it again. One, for time's sake. I suppose this was in a world where you had more than enough time to play a game, and when the games were 40, 50 pounds a pop, inflation adjusted, you didn't have as much money to go and get another game, I guess, so you were forced to play it all the way through, inside out, and so on. But yeah, it's a good game, but I didn't like the non-linear aspect, and so therefore I missed out most of the bosses because I'd already collected enough fruit to complete the level or world. But with that being said, it was fun. I do acknowledge there is replayability there, so if I went back, then I could go and explore those bosses and defeat the worlds in a way that would be more satisfying, i.e. to beat the boss, but also therefore collecting the fruit thereafter. But in the main, it was good. The final boss was good. It was challenging. I didn't complete it first attempt, that final boss. And yeah, I did enjoy this game. I wouldn't say it's a sleeper in the N64 library, a hidden gem as such, but it's a nice game discovered for me because I'd never played it before. Good fun little platforming game. One that you can get your teeth into and complete pretty quickly, so that's a good thing, right? You don't have to invest, you know, in a world where we don't have as much time to game now. If you want to pick up a game and get through it relatively quickly, but have some enjoyment all the same, then this is definitely a good game for that. And so yeah, solid 8 out of 10 for Yoshi Story. Really enjoyed that one, and that completes episode 16 now of Mission N64 239. So we're making good progress on this journey. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this episode, please whack a thumbs up, guys. It really helps the channel out, pushes me into the algorithm and all that good stuff. Drop a comment, let me know what you think of Yoshi Story. Did you have this game back in the day? What were your thoughts on it then? What are your thoughts on it now? Are you new to Yoshi Story? What do you think about this game? Have I tempted you to play it or not? Good little game, and one I would recommend. If you're new to the channel or a returning viewer and you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. It really helps me out. More of you coming along to see if I can complete and review all 239 UK PAL N64 games and get more love out there for the Nintendo 64, because there's certainly not enough of it on YouTube at the moment. And of course, I am still collecting the full PS3 Essentials PAL library, English where possible, and full PS4 hits set, so you might want to come along for that journey as well. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you on the next one.